Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to solve the problem related to the analysis of discrete time LTI system using Z transform. Okay. So in the previous video we discussed one problem. Okay, that is in that problem the h of z. Okay, system function is given. The system function is given. We calculated the step response. Okay, response of the system for the given input is a unit step sequence. Okay, so the second problem, so you see it's a December 2018 question and 13 mark question. You see the question, a causal discrete time system is described by the difference equation y of n minus 2 minus 7 by 10 y of n minus 1 plus 1 by 10 y of n is equal to x of n. Determine the system function h of z. Okay, so here the question is different. That is, in the first problem h of z is given. We have to find the time domain response y of n. So here the system equation, okay, the time domain system equation is given. We have to find the h of z, system function we have to find, and also plot pole zero plot. Okay, the pole zero diagram we have to draw and determine whether the system is stable. Okay, so the three things we have to find out. One is system function, then from the system function, for the system function we have to draw the pole zero diagram. It's a second thing. And the third one is from the pole zero diagram, okay, the ROC diagram, we can check the given system is stable or not. Okay, so the first one, so first we have to write the given difference equation. So you know the discrete time system, all discrete time systems are represented by difference equation. Okay, in the third unit all LTI continuous time systems are represented by differential equation. Okay, so in the third unit we solved analysis of LTI CT system using Laplace transform and Fourier transform. So in that all continuous time systems are represented by differential equation. What is differential equation? D squared y of t dt squared plus some 2 into dx of t divided by dt plus x of t equal to some x of t. Okay, so that equation which relates the input and output of the continuous time system. So here it's a discrete time system. So you know the discrete time system is represented by difference equation. So what is that difference equation means? Here you see the term y of n minus 2. What is y of n minus 2? This is y of n minus 1. Y of n, x of n. So x of n is the input applied to the discrete time system. Y of n is the output obtained from the discrete time system. And y of n minus 1. What is y of n minus 1? Our present output y of n is delayed by 1 second. It is said to be the y of n minus 1. Okay, so it's a delayed output. Y of n minus 2. What is y of n minus 2? The output y of n is delayed by 2 seconds. It is a y of n minus 2. Okay, so this is the previous output. That is, if y of n is the present output means y of n minus 1, y of n minus 2 is the previous outputs. Okay, so the equation which relates input and output of the system, that is called as the system equation. Okay, so from the system equation we want h of z. So what is h of z first? The h of z is nothing but it's a ratio of y of z divided by x of z. Okay, the transfer function or system function is nothing but it's a ratio of Z transform of the output divided by Z transform of the input. We are calling it as a system function. Okay, so here we are having x of n, y of n term, that is input and output we are having in time domain, but we want the Z domain. So what we have to do? We have to take Z transform, we have to apply Z transform for the entire equation. Okay, so here, so you know that is if the signal y of n means the Z transform answer is capital Y of Z. Similarly, x of n means the Z transform of x of n is capital X of Z. And here you see y of n minus 1, y of n minus 2 term is there. So in order to find the Z transform of this delayed output, we have to use the time shifting property of Z transform. Okay, so we discussed the properties of Z transform in the fourth unit. Okay, so properties of Z transform and properties of discrete time Fourier transform is also we discussed. So in Z transform there is a linearity property, time shifting property. Okay, then time scaling, convolution property, and so many property we discussed. So now in order to solve this problem, we are going to use the time shifting property. So what is this time shifting property? Means if the signal y of n, the z transform answer is capital Y of z, means then y of n minus k signal. Okay, so what is y of n minus k? Y of n shifted by some k amount. Okay, so the z transform of this shifted signal, it gives the answer is that capital Y of z multiplied with the constant z power minus k, where k is the amount of shift. Okay, so you have to remember this time shifting property. The Y of n minus k means the z transform answer is Y of z into z power minus k. Okay, so using this property, we are going to take z transform for the entire equation. Okay, so the first term, what is the first term? Y of n minus 2. So what is the z transform of y of n minus 2? So according to this one, in the place of k, 2 is there. So what is the answer? Capital Y of z multiplied with z power minus 2. So you see, Y of z multiplied with z power minus 2. Then minus 7 by 10 into what is the z transform of y of n minus 1? The z transform of y of n minus 1 is capital Y of z multiplied with z power minus 1. Okay, that's all. Similarly, plus 1 by 10 into what is the z transform of y of n? It's a y of z. Okay, so which is equal to what is the z transform of x of n? It is the capital X of z. Okay, so we taken z transform for the entire equation. Okay, each term we have to take z transform individually according to the linearity property. Okay, so the next one, so in this thing you see in the left sided term, all term is having y of z term as a common. So you take y of z as a common. So how can you write? Taking y of z as a common, z power minus 2 minus here which one is missing? 7 by 10 is that inverse plus 1 by 10, which is equal to x of z. Okay, so from this, that is what is our question means. Our question is we have to find the system function h of z. So from that, the h of z is nothing but the ratio of y of z divided by x of z. So y of z you write here, then this x of z you give it to the denominator. So y of z divided by x of z is equal to, so here 1 divided by this term, it will come into the denominator. So 1 by z power minus 2 minus 7 by 10 is that inverse plus 1 by 10. So this is the answer for the system function. Okay, so here you see the system function is having the term z inverse. Okay, z power minus 2, that is negative inverse, negative powers of z this having. Okay, so if we want to convert this h of z totally into positive z means, so you just multiply the numerator of numerator and the denominator both by z squared. Okay, so this is the h of z, so you multiply both the numerator and the denominator by z squared means, so the h of z can be written as the 1 multiplied with z squared, and the z squared multiplied with each term of this denominator term. So z squared, z power minus 2, if you are multiplying these two, we will get z power 0. Z power 0 value is a 1. Okay, then minus 7 by 10 into z squared, z power minus 1. Okay, base is common, so we have to add the power. So 2 minus 1, it's a 1. So z power 1. Similarly, plus 1 by 10 into this z squared. Okay, so that's all. So from that, so the next one, here you see this term. So in this, you just take LCM here. So if you are taking LCM, 10 into, okay, in the denominator, you take LCM. So then divided by 10, that 10 you give it to the numerator. So 10 z squared by 10 minus 7 z plus z squared. Okay, so this is the h of z. Okay, this is the value of h of z. This is the system transfer function. And in this the second order equation, you just factorize. So if you are factorizing the second order equation, z squared minus 7z plus 10 means we will get the answer z minus 5, z minus 2. Okay, so this is the h of z. So the h of z we calculated, system function calculated. And what is the next step? The next step is to here we have to find we have to draw the pole zero plot. Okay, pole zero diagram. what is mean by poles, what is mean by zeros. Okay, so already this poles and zeros we've discussed in the third unit itself. Okay, the poles means in the h of z, in the system equation. Okay, this is the system equation, this is the h of z equation. So in the h of z equation, the roots of the numerator polynomial, we are calling it as a zeros. Okay, the roots of the denominator polynomial, we are calling it as a poles. Okay, so you see this h of z function is having, what is the numerator polynomial? Z squared. Okay, the numerator polynomial is z squared. So you see the roots of numerator polynomial is called as zeros. So the z squared. So z squared means a second order function. So what is the root for the function z squared? It's a 0. So the first 0 and the second 0, both having the value 0. Okay, the roots of numerator polynomial, the name is called as zeros. Okay, here the 0 value is also 0. Okay, in this function. And the roots of the denominator polynomial, z minus 5, z minus 2. So the root of the first thing is 5. The root of the second one is 2. So the first pole, okay, the first root we are calling it as a pole P1. And the second root we are calling it as a pole P2. So P1 equal to 5 and P2 equal to 2. Okay, so these are all the roots of numerator, zeros and poles we calculated. These zeros and poles we have to mark in the pole zero diagram. Okay, so what is mean by pole zero diagram means the Z plane diagram. So in the that is in the fourth unit, in each for each Z transform problem we drawn the ROC diagram, you know. So that ROC diagram is drawn in the Z plane. Okay, that is the thing. So along x-axis we have to take real of Z. Okay, along x-axis this is a plus real of Z, this is the minus real of Z. Similarly, along y-axis we have to take imaginary of Z. Okay, this is the minus imaginary of Z. You have to mark. Okay, then the poles. Okay, the pole we have to marked by the cross symbol. Okay, usually the poles are marked in the diagram by cross symbol. The zeros are marked by the symbol small circle. So here you see the zeros. How many zeros? 2 zeros. What is the location? In origin only, 0 only. So that's why you see here we have to mark. Okay, this is the 0 location. Okay, so you have to mark by one small circle and we have to mention Z1, Z2 equal to 0. Okay, so zeros are marked. And the poles we have to mark. What is the first pole? The pole P1 equal to 5. The pole P2 equal to 2. So the first pole, where is 5? If this is a 0 means some 1, 2 means this is, if it is a 2 means, so we have to mark by the cross symbol. Okay, cross symbol we have to mark in order to indicate the pole. This is the pole P2 equal to 2. And if this point is a 5 means this is the pole P1 we marked. Okay, so this diagram is said to be the pole 0 diagram. Okay, so pole 0 diagram we drawn. And what is the third question they are asking? So from the draw pole 0 plot and also determine whether the given system is stable or not. Okay, so in order to check the stability of the system, so already in the first video of this fifth unit, I posted one video that is in terms of what is impulse response. In terms of impulse response, how can you say the given system is causal? Okay, in terms of impulse response, how can you say the system is a stable system? Okay, and in terms of the ROC diagram, there is ROC diagram means the pole 0 diagram. So how can you say the given system is causal and stable? We discussed in the first video of this fifth unit 5.1. Okay, so you go and check that. So here I am telling what is mean by, okay, which system is said to be stable means the system is said to be stable if all the poles are located within a unit circle. Okay, so here what does the unit circle mean? So in this Z plane, so you just draw one circle. Okay, here in dotted line I that is drawn one circle, you know. This circle is having the radius. Okay, this is unit circle. Unit circle means the circle is having the radius r equal to 1. Okay, the radius r equal to 1. It is called as a unit circle. So taking radius 1, you just draw one circle. This is called as a unit circle. So in one for one system, all poles are located within the unit circle means that system is called as a stable system. Okay, but if the poles are located outside the unit circle, means the system is unstable. So here you see the two poles, the pole 1 and pole 2, the two poles are having the value greater than 1. That is, pole 1 is 5, pole 2 is 2. These two poles are located outside the unit circle. Okay, so that's why we can say that the given system is an unstable system. Okay, so that's all. So from the diagram, we can determine, okay, this is the use of the pole 0 diagram. This is the use of the Z transform in system. Okay, why we are using Z transform in the analysis of system means in order to analyze the given system is stable or not, the given system is causal or not. In order to determine, we may use this Z transform. Okay, this is the one of the application of ROC property also. Okay, so from that we can say that the given system is a unstable system. Okay, if the pole value, the two poles are located inside the unit circle, means we may call it as a stable system. But here the pole 1 and pole 2 both having the value greater than 1. That's why the system is said to be the unstable. Okay, so this is a one type of problem. Okay, this is also your analysis of continuous time, discrete time system using the Z transform. Okay, so it's a December 2018 question. Okay, so you study clearly this question. So similar to this problem, so we will see in the next video. Okay, so some university problem we will discuss in the next video. Okay, so thanks for watching my channel, and please subscribe my channel for more videos, and share this video to your friends. Thank you.